I'm muted, so now you can hear me. Sorry. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Hearthcenter, your Tuesday night show, bringing you everything that happened in the last week of THL. I'm one of your hosts, Lotus Knight, and I am joined by the best crew THL has to offer. On my left side, we have the one and only Ron Mexico. Ron, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Glad to be here as always. Got a lot of playoff action to talk about, so excited to dive into it.
For sure. We have so much playoff stuff to talk about today. This is going to be a packed show. And to my right, we have playoff contender. I have no idea in how many series, Neji Boston. Neji, how are you?
I'm doing good. Excited to talk about some playoffs. Let's get it started.
For sure. Right below Neji, we have Super Chicken, not featuring the much beloved stairs background anymore. How are you, Chicken?
Yeah, doing great. Yeah, it's the most exciting time of the season. There's playoffs going on in almost every series, so yeah, it's really fun to watch.
For sure. And last but certainly not least, we have our warrior specialist, Geranium Battle. Geranium, how are you doing?
Hello, maybe I am a little bit least because I'm a little bit tired today. We're going to be pulling the graveyard shift again with actually extremely hype match after Hearth Center. That if people want to stick around, we're probably going to take just the tiniest, shortest break and then hop into that. But since I'm always a stats nerd, just wanted to mention Neji is currently in 2 finals. At this moment, he is also in contention to get into a third finals in Legacy, and he would have been in a fourth if he was still on the Wild team.
Wild lull.
Ooh, well, we'll leave Wild for Wild and Out, but in the meanwhile, why don't we start our show for tonight? We have so much to talk about. Let's start by hopping into Hero playoffs. So, we had two great matches happening, and we're going to start by talking about Clown Town facing Chicken is Back just in time to smack. And to tell us about this particular match, let me make sure I get the notes right. We have Super Chicken. Chicken, take it away.
Yeah, this was well, it started off closer than it ended. Yeah, I think the last match that was played was myself versus Neji. Yeah, I got swept by his curse implock in the last match. But yeah, it started off a lot closer, I think. I believe the first match was Rayscription versus Skirt, and then you Kit and me played against Righteous Jammies on stream and got the 3-0 there. Then 9 fell 3-1 to Ridiculous Hat, so um yeah, I needed to not get swept to keep us in it. And well, also needed to go like to lose 3-2 or go do better than that to stay in it. And yeah, I was not able to, unfortunately. But yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough week. I think Clowntown has probably been the best team overall this season. So I do think this was probably the toughest week we could have had. And I do expect Clowntown to win in the finals this week.
So, Edgy, tell us a bit about this match. You were on it, so anything you want to add to what Chicken said here?
Yeah, it was a close match. More close than maybe the score looks. Did come down there. I think it was actually had a 9 that played last. Maybe I'm wrong on that one. But regardless, a lot of the games are close, and like I said, the points don't necessarily show what happened in the games. But yeah, happy to move on to the finals. I'm also happy that Clowntown got one loss to break the curse of going undefeated in the regular season and then instantly losing. So glad we got that out of the way. But yeah, hopefully we can get there this week. We'll see though.
Sure, we'll talk about this week really soon. But let's look at the other match. Uranium, tell us about what happened on the other side of the bracket. I'm sure you're very excited to talk about this one.
Yeah, another pit of misery faced off against ET Yasharaj, and the APM team is in finals for the third season in a row. Because after that week of 14-10 victory, with always just in time losing Game 5 to Yo Daddy, right about the same time, Laughing Frog won Game 5 versus Trito 2. Wild 9, I think right after that, swept God, I think it's God Reld. I'm not entirely sure. Then Canoe got swept by Nomad Farmer. And finally, I played Sunday night on stream as I tend to do. And you can see Vampire Nighthawk banned my Paladin. So I just swept with Priest. And so yeah, 14-10 may not look super close, but it was tied 10-10 going into that final match. So sweats all around.
And this was so tight. It is quite amazing. Right, Ron? Anything you want to add here?
This was a entertaining one for sure. Coming down to the wire, it was, of course, the very last match to be played was the decider with Geranium Battle over Vampire Nighthawk. Right, was the
Yep.
decider match on stream, and yeah, Geranium just went off with that priest, and it turned into a not very close match at the end there. Just watching that play out, that priest seemed invincible. So congrats to him, congrats to APM, and excited to see a thriller of a championship match being set up here.
For sure. I'm gonna bring us now to the question y'all want to hear me ask, and I'm just going to ask it to Ron Mexico and Super Chicken because our other two casters are biased. So I'll start by Ron. Who wins Hero?
Well, I called it before already, and I'm going to stick with that same prediction. It's going to be Clown Town taking the title. And more importantly, I'll go further on this. Clown Town, even in their logo, says carry Neji Boston as a team. So I'm going to make the prediction that Neji loses to have a sub 500 record in Hero for the season, but it won't matter. Clown Town still wins the title.
Okay.
You're welcome, bud.
I think Ron read my notes on what I was going to say about Hero
Hey.
Finals.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Justin's gonna lay a bit of a beat down on Neji in the 1 seed, but yeah, I think the other seeds uh, on Cloudtown are gonna do a bit of cleaning up. I think the the 5 seed is gonna be interesting because I think both the 5 seeds on both teams have struggled a bit throughout the season. I think Canoe will probably come out on top of that, but I think the middle 3 seeds for Clowntown will clutch up and win the championship for them.
Well, I'm going to break protocol here and make a bold prediction that APM wins just so we have Geranium's first win.
Oh, nice.
So, gonna give this one to
Nah,
Geranium, but we will see what happens.
I'm going for Dark Side stats. I'm trying to beat Dark Side on the most finals appearances without a dub here. Okay.
Fair.
A
It
record
is
is
a tough
still a
one.
record, I suppose.
Uh, I know that you don't let the people in the match give their predictions, but I would just like to say some history here. Is like I said, APM's been in the last 3 Hero finals. Always Just in Time has also been in the last 3 Hero finals. And Always Just in Time has been on the winning side of all 3 of those. But APM's been on the losing side, so I think that's gonna hold true.
Either way, a streak will be broken. Well played.
Ooh. So, that is it for us for Hero, unless anyone wants to say anything else about Hero Series before we move into Pro Series.
Let's talk pro.
Let's go to Pro. So in Pro Series, our first match we're going to talk about was extremely close. We have XD facing the Coney Island Clown Club. And to tell us about that match that I just realized I pasted wrong in the sheet, we have Neji Boston. Neji, tell us what happened here.
Yeah, this was a crazy, crazy match here. It started out, let's see, I believe Izot started it out and took a 3-1 loss to Seth. Followed that up was Justin, who won a really close 3-2 over Gravity Cat, who subbed in for Maxibon. Then it was myself against Dazer. We had a really, really close series, but I lost 2-3. And at that point, Coney Island Clown Club needed both Eggo Waffle and Lambie series to win the matches or win their matches. XD just needed to win either one to move on. So I was in call with Ron, and we were watching the match closely because he's on Brushy Tuna. I wanted to see the outcome of the match as well. But Lambie just got their 3-2, and then I was checking Discord constantly and seeing what happened to Eggo Waffle, and he barely got the 3-2 as well. So I don't know if I've been in a series that was this close before, but it was very entertaining and stressful, but I'm happy that we won. 15-14 was the final score.
As a season-long big fan of XD, Geranium, do you have anything you want to say about this one?
Yeah. I mean, it was. I'm in the Zerel Disciples Discord, just sort of hanging out because I subbed for them once, and it kind of felt like, you know, it kind of felt like there was sort of a comedy of errors. Things were just sort of happening. Um, People were wondering why decks existed. Uh, people were bemoaning the loss of their pizza. Um, and yeah, Justin was very kind and sort of finagled around to let Gravity Cat get 3-2'd by him. So at the end of the day, Coney Island Clown Club is in finals again, and probably deservedly so.
And we will see Coney Island Clown Club in the finals facing off against Brushy Tuna, who beat a perfect Murloc. Ron, tell us about that one.
All right, so this one also came down to the wire. Brushy Tuna taking the 14-12 victory. The order of games, I believe, started with myself taking the 3-1 over Genji. Then McBanterface got his revenge. The person who spoiled his undefeated record, he was able to get a victory over Yo Daddy in 5 games, and things were looking great for Brushy Tuna early, up 8-3. But then it started to turn back the other way. Hat played next, and Parawax just went off and was able to take that 3-0 sweep. Chewy versus Based came after that, with Chewy taking a tight 5-game victory. And finally, it came down to none other than your Hearthcenter host himself, Dr. Lotus Knight, going up against Corridon. And Lotus came through for Brushy Tuna with the 3-1 victory, putting us into the championship game. So it was pretty exciting all the way around. Would have probably liked to end it faster and get in, without any stress. But much like Neji on the other side, it's just it was a week of high blood pressure, but it worked out.
Oh, yeah. I was so nervous.
Happens.
Chicken, anything you want to add about this match?
Yeah, I think I had APM beating Brushy Tuna in our predictions last week. Uh, but yeah, I mean, and it was a very close match. But yeah, I think the fact that it was tied going into Lotus versus Corden, which was probably the biggest mismatch of the week. Um, I think that definitely gave a pretty huge edge to Brushy Tuna there at the end. And yeah, I definitely would have been surprised to see Lotus fall to Corden. Just Lotus having played a lot more in Pro Series and also being like a 1 versus a 3 seed. I think. Um, I mean, I guess I could say like Parallax versus Ridiculous had as a pretty big mismatch the other way. Especially considering how well Parallax has done this season. But yeah, all in all, yeah, APM just wasn't able to get there. I, I'm I am pretty surprised, especially McBanterface getting his revenge on Yo Daddy after that last week in the regular season and ruining Banter's perfect season. Um, but yeah, I mean, just a super fun week in general across Pro Series to follow.
Yeah. From what I heard, from what Bowmaster has publicly said, it looks like Yo Daddy got the Paladin on McBanterface down to 1 health, and that he at least attributes that 1 health to be the reason why Brushy Tuna made it.
Actually,
Fair.
there is a screenshot proving it.
Yeah, it is a game of inches sometimes.
So this leads us to the big question, which is we have the clowns facing Brushy Tuna. And as much as Ron doesn't like saying that Brushy Tuna is winning something, I'm sure that's his call for which team wins, and I'm sure Neji's call for which team wins is the Clown Club. So I want to ask the other two here, and I'm going to start by Geranium. Geranium, who wins Pro?
Um, yeah, I mean, Brushy Tuna gets the unfair match of McBanterface versus Neji. But Konao and Clown Club gets the unfair matchup of Aggo Waffle staying in the 5 somehow. So
Correction, McBanterface is actually going to be playing against Lambie, and I'm going to be playing against Neji.
True.
okay, so Brushy Tuna gets the unfair matchup of Ron Mexico versus Neji.
We are
Love it.
coping.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's Brushy Tuna's destiny to make it as close to the end as possible and then miss. So I'm gonna
There it
back
is.
Coney Island Clown Club.
And Chicken, who do you think makes it?
Uh, um, yeah, this one feels very close. Yeah, I'm having a hard time with this one. I'm just gonna have to. I don't know. I have a hard time betting against Justin. He like he will like vehemently deny it if you tell him he like tryhards THL a lot, but he does. I've never seen anyone put more practice and effort into THL than him. And yeah, it definitely pays off. He is greasy. And but yeah, I think I like he is like scouring every player's channel. He like always helps people prepare for their matchups and stuff. I think he is just so meticulous that he just kind of wills his way to championships, and I think he's going to win another one in pro.
That's fair. Any final thoughts anyone wants to share about Pro before we hop into Pro EU?
I mean, obviously I'm super biased here, but I just got to say it's been about a year and a half in the making I think THL needs this Sith Tuna merch, which you will see if Brushy Tuna wins the title. So going all in here, gotta get it done one of these seasons, and what better time than now?
Okay, so Ron disses my Agent PLE merch, and then he boosts his Brushy Tuna merch.
Absolutely, I defend that decision 100%.
Fair. So I am moving us to Pro U to talk to us about the final match in Pro U. Pro U is actually over, which is surprising because no other series is over. But we had the super tight finals of Pan and Cooks facing F12 Violet, and I want to ask my friend Geranium Battle. Tell us about this one.
Of course, Pan and Cooks took the entire series over F12 Violet, um, which I think was the popular prediction amongst us last week. Max VDP, though, losing in a sweep to Rami was maybe a bit unexpected because everything else was a lot closer. Pigeon got the Game 5 win over Rebob. Fudov got the Game 5 win over Kokpa. Lasagna also won for Pan and Cooks, winning a Game 4 over Judgment. And then Racinho made it close with a Game 5 win over Jack Attack to bring it 14-13 because of that sweep. So, even if it was 14-14, it still would have gone Pan and Cook's way just because of the winning 3 matches part of it. But yeah, F12 Violet got close to winning another series that isn't one of the ones we normally talk about on Hearthcenter.
For sure. Sure. This was so close. Chicken, anything you want to say about this one?
All I'm gonna say is I knew it. I knew it. I knew the Panda Cooks were gonna win. Yeah, you just don't bet against Fudov, is what I've learned. And yeah, it wasn't even close. Like this is the biggest 14-3 blowout I've ever seen.
Fair. Fair. Anyone wants to add anything else about this match before we move on to our commercial?
Just F2L destiny here. It was preordained that F2L always chokes in playoffs, so there was only one more chance to choke, which was the title game. So, but I mean, in all honesty, congrats to Panic Cooks for playing a great match, and pretty cool to see them get that title.
For sure. I do want to let you all know there will still be a Pan and Cooks interview. We're just finding the right time because Hearthcenter is late, and Europeans can't actually make Hearthcenter, so we're organizing a time that works for everyone. Dr. Fish is dealing with that and will come back to us as soon, or to everyone, as soon as he knows when this special Pro U interview is happening. But in the meantime, I want to congratulate Pan and Cooks and bring us back to the main screen for our commercial read. Everyone's favorite part of the show. Ron, are you ready?
All right. Been a while since I've done this read. It's gotten even more corrupted. Excited to dive into it. Let me just read this here. Oh my
Take
god.
a deep breath. Get ready.
All right, here we go. Yo. Hey there, Twitcher hooers. Have you subscribed to Team Hearth League yet? Then shake today, the day to be a league yourself and subscribe to our channel. This subscription enables the THL team to help coper the various costs of cooperating our website, as well as improve the iCarlity of our streams and content to our hooers. If you have Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime, Rib, you can super chicken who the channel for free. Subscribers will get a THL Smoochcon as well as the Bigly THL chat badge. So hit that frown button and keep the notifications bing bonged. Make sure you catch our team Bat Chest Bing live. We approximate each and every none of you. Special smoke to our viewers. Check out THL's other social media interest of points. Website, teamheartleague.com. Catch us on Twitter, THL_HS. Join us on Discord, Team Hearth League. Update us on Tumblr, ka-chow, ka-true, ka-chow. The true Hearth Leagues himself, Saku, and Damless Dad continue being to roast all of our videos on our YouTube channel. Just search for Teen Heart Leafs to see every Bing previously recorded. You are never watching us on our Mixer channel Factos, twitch.tv/Team Hearth League, or possibly on our Ubing channel in the future. And for all your THL fanfics out where there are THL smojis every single moist days of the week. You can't go bong runestoning it in at any time for some Rune Terror related content. Cope it up. Now back to the good part. Ka-chow.
Impressive.
Oh my
Just
god.
gets better and better.
Yeah, yeah. I have no idea what it meant, but yes, yeah, that was a great read by Ron Mexico.
Hey,
And
the speed run adds the challenge. It's that was a tough one.
I want to ask you, Ron, as we're moving to the final weeks, which sentence was the toughest one this week, or which moment was the toughest one to beat?
Honestly, probably Ka-chow, Kerchu, Krakow. I butchered that one.
That one's very tough. So why don't we take this opportunity to go talk to Legacy, which is the series we haven't yet. We are going, yes, I didn't forget this time, do Legacy PR. We're going to end with that. So we're going to start with 4 to 5 Justins facing How I Met Your Murgle. Ron, what happened there?
Right. So 4 out of 5 Justins versus How I Met Your Murgle came down to a 10-14 victory for How I Met Your Murgle. We had, I don't know the order of this unless Fish maybe posted it somewhere. Maybe not. But in the 1 seed, we've got Always Just in Time losing to Nice Jewish Owl 2-3. Wild Rose also losing in a 5-game series to Vino Spumoni in the 2 for How I Met Your Murgle. Pokemon 661 getting a 3-2 victory over Copa in the 3. Corridon and TKRZ did not need to play because the game was already decided by that point. Dr. Fish in the 5 getting a 5-game victory as well over Skirt Reynolds. Pretty impressed with this performance from How I Met Your Murgle. They had a hot game going into the playoffs to get them there, and they're staying on a roll. And now they're setting up themselves a nice little rematch.
For sure. Sure.
Oh, thank you, Fish. Okay, yeah. So match order: Owl, Fish, Copa, and then Vino was the one to close it out for How I Met Your Murgle for the decisive victory.
Congratulations to How I Met Your Murgle for beating 4 out of 5 Justins. As everyone has said, beating Justin is non-trivial. And this was a very strong showing by How I Met Your Murgle, placing them strongly in the playoffs. I want to ask, Neji, anything you want to add about this match?
Yeah, it's been fun to watch Legacy this season. I feel like there's a lot of good teams that made the playoffs, and just everyone's doing really well. How I Met Your Murgle has been on a roll, and they're kind of unstoppable, I feel like, right now. So I'm not super surprised to see them beat 4 to 5 Justins, but I mean, both teams were really strong. So it could have gone either way, but we'll see what happens this week. How I Met Your Murgle will get their rematch against Diamond 5 and see if Diamond 5 can come out on top this time.
Sure. Now, let's take a look at our second match that we're going to look into tonight. We have E.T. Cthulhu versus IDK, which I think is what everyone would call the biggest upset of the week. And Geranium, tell us about it.
Of course, ET with another team in their first playoffs match, losing to Illidan's Death Knights. In this case, a 14-7 smashing by IDK. JR Juggerlaw stays winning in the 1 with a 3-1 over Chewy. Molestar takes the 3-1 over Bach for Life, who had recently moved down to the 2. Fudov in the 3 took the 3-1 as well over Lowbrow Know-How. Trito 2 Nomad Farmer did not play because it was already finished by that point, but Eternal did notch up a win over Righteous Jammies in the 5. So, yeah, some very, very dominant teams in their conferences. And maybe Silver's showing that, that's the most stacked conference since they're the only conference that has both of their teams remaining.
That's true. That is true. Now, Ron, anything you want to add about this result?
Yeah, just impressed with IDK going off here in the playoffs. JR continues an extremely hot streak in Legacy, and Fudov, bouncing back from a rough regular season, saying, the real season starts now in playoffs, and getting a big win in the 3 seed. Molestar in the 2 also. I don't think it's been officially announced or anything, but appears to be the one who will hold the crossover player of the season title, definitely up there at the top in the standings right now. So I would not bet against him. With that top 3, if JR can continue his hot streak, this team looks real scary.
Yeah, I think this can be a scary team. I mean, this might be the rebirth of IDK, or even first birth, because it's been a while. So I want to move on to our next match, looking at this one, and we will talk later about who actually makes who are you all think are going to be the winners here for Legacy. But in the meanwhile, Neji, why don't you tell us about Diamond 5 facing School of Fish?
Rip Neji.
Neji, can you hear us? Well, since we
We
don't
may
have
have lost
Neji,
him. I see the mute flashing.
Where is
Neji,
he
you're
gone?
currently on mute again. Like you've muted yourself. Anything? Oh, rip Neji's mic.
so while
I
Neji is
can
trying
talk to you
figure
about
out-
this since I'm also on the team here if you want me to run through it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Why don't you tell us about this one?
All right, so we started off. I believe the first match was Neji over Yodaddy, taking the sweep to kick things off nicely. Then after that, the rest of the matches were all kind of played in succession on like the same day, I think, all on Sunday. It made for a crazy day. I played on stream against Smear and got the 5-game victory. After that, it was Kotamora against Laughing Frog, or he might have gone before me. I can't remember that one. But Laughing Frog took the 5-game victory. I guess. Oh yeah. Okay. Kotamara played before me and lost to Laughing Frog in 5 games. After that, it was Dankus Dad who started playing against Zancat, and Ricescription was kind of waiting in the wings to see if he was going to have to play. And Dankus Dad's match went so long. It was just control versus control all the way that Ricescription's like, I can't even wait on the outcome. I have to play, and launched into it. And we got the update from Dankus Dad winning his game 5 just like maybe 10 minutes before Ricescription, who had started probably like 3 or 4 games into Dankus's match, getting his game 5 victory as well. So even though the final is 18-10, it was very nerve-wracking. Looked like it was something that was going to go all the way down to the wire, and did in fact require all of the matches to be played because of the timing of them. Neji, you back? Mic working?
Does it work?
Hey, it works.
Yeah.
Let's go. I heard what Ron said. I agree. I have nothing else to add.
I
Solid.
have something to add. Yeah, Kodomora versus Laughing Frog was like several hours before. The part I want to mention on though is Dankestad versus Zancat. I think was 105 minutes. Was what Dankestad said to me. Game one was 40 minutes. And yeah, I started my match an hour and 15 minutes into Dankestad's match, and I finished well before him. So this is we really would have liked to have seen Rice Cryption play a bit earlier in the week to have Dankestad not have to play that.
Unfortunate.
For sure, for sure. Does anyone have anything else they want to say about this match before we move on to our next match? All right, so we have the final match of the night. We have colon close parentheses facing the season 22 closed list conquest participants. Chicken,
Hey, you
tell
got it
me
right.
about
Yeah, this one was a pretty interesting match for a couple of reasons. Um, I don't remember exactly how it started. I think it started out with Kitten losing to Sharkbait. He was up.
Tab beat Quaz.
Okay, Tab beat. Oh yeah, Tab beat Quaz 3-0. That one was not close. Quaz brought. I looked at the replays and Quaz just brought worse decks. uh, the decks were not very good, and Tab had a pretty easy time there. Kitten was up 2-1 on Sharkbait, and then did then had to win with just fell DH, I think, and was not able to. Um, yeah, I mean, like a combination of like sort of bad matchups, but also I think probably also I think like I think he said afterwards like he just had like a brain fart or something and messed up a couple plays. And yeah, Sharkbait was able to capitalize on that. And then Izot played around. I actually don't remember when Izot played because I think he like just mentioned after he won. He was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I won my match." So yeah, he beat Wild Nine kind of around that time, and then those are all on Friday, and then on Saturday morning, Gamer Dude was supposed to play against Max. And then I believe what happened was um, Max was supposed to have Druid, Mage, Priest, and Shaman in his screenshot, and he did not have Druid in his screenshot, which meant that he could at most win 2 games in the match, which also meant that his team could not win the week. So it ended up being a DQ win for Gamer Dude.
Not
This
a
Brutal.
all
DQ,
happened.
but yeah.
I think well, I think Marty said it was a no fault DQ or something like that is what he called it. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, weird way to end the week. It was a bit anticlimactic and pretty unfortunate when stuff like that happens. But surely I would have surely I would have beaten Lotus with my warrior.
Yeah. Um, I would rather not talk about this ever again. This is my first time ever misqueuing at the worst possible time. So, rip. Sorry.
There is a precedent for that. Ridiculous Hat did that one time with I think it was like an inner fire priest that shouldn't have been there, and it was a playoff match as well. So if the league commissioner has done it before, no sweat. You try to make that correction for next time and avoid it happening again.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it does happen. Like, especially when you're playing like multiple series, it's very, especially like like I've come very very close to to like bringing the wrong classes to like hero when I had like those classes in legacy or something like that. It's just it's yeah, between hero and legacy it's hard to keep track.
Also, the amount of hero skins has made it a little bit more confusing to keep up with.
Dude, okay,
You
that
don't
that
just
messes me up.
you don't just have like the same skin that you look at all the time for a class, and it's like, okay, it's that. I mean, unless you just keep it all the same setting as the boring ones, but we want to have some excitement. Opens up the likelihood that you can make some mistakes.
Any final thoughts anyone wants to share about Legacy as a whole before I ask you all the grand question that everyone knows I'm going to ask?
Let's talk predictions.
All right. So, since three of you are in it, I'm going to ask it a bit differently for you all. Who makes it that isn't your team? I asked you that last week, so I want to ask who wins that is not your team. Neji, you go first.
All right, I will say How I Met Your Murgle will win because if they win, that means that they beat us. Yep.
Nice.
That's fair. Chicken, if you don't win, who wins?
Yeah, I'll talk about the other side. Like, if we don't win, I do think it will be the Diamond 5. Ron's just been hanging out in the 3 seed the whole season.
Look, it's
And
comfy
yeah,
there. Leave me alone.
Dankest Dad's been sitting in the 2 seed too, when he usually plays in the 1. I mean, this is stuff we've talked about like throughout the whole season. The Diamond 5 is sitting at like 2100 PR by now. They're just like kind of steamrolling teams. And then yeah, I mean, Rice has really been quite solid in the 4 seed, along with Kodamora still being a really strong 5 seed. So they really, yeah, the Diamond 5 really is not a team that has like an obvious weakness in any of their seeds. Definitely the makings of a championship level team. So I think if we don't win, I think it will be them.
Yeah. Page 3 or Ron Mexico. Who wins
Hey.
if Diamond 5 doesn't win?
Well, I'm not changing my prediction from last week. I called it as season 22 closed list conquest participants. If you remember, Lotus, I even said that they were going to beat your team and make you remember how to say their name. And lo and behold, it happened. So if the Diamond 5 is not the championship winner, my bet is on season 22 closed list conquest participants taking it down.
Yeah. Yeah. And last but not least, Geranium. Who actually wins here?
Man, this is unfair. I have the most choices out of anyone here. I think that, I mean, for variety's sake, we've had every single team be chosen so far. So I think I'm going to say the Diamond 5. I think the Diamond 5 is going to win this entire thing. I think, yeah, just look up and down the line. Every single player is cracked. I can't say that about every single team, but I can say that about the Diamond 5.
Fair. Fair. Um, that is it for us into Legacy. But I didn't forget this week. No, I did not. We have special Legacy PPR. Yeah, there may be some weird data, and if there is, I'm gonna complain to Marty. This is not Legacy MVP or anything like that. That's a different thing that's handled by Dante. But we do have the final PPR just for you who are watching. And you think you might be here? Yep, you know who you are. And Geranium is the one who actually knows who it is. So tell us who made it, Geranium.
Of course, starting at the honorable mention, bottom honorable mention goes to Tickers at 5-2 with 18-10. Cheesy 10 edging him out with a 6-2 matched record, 19-10 on the season. Chewy gets 7-2. So we just keep counting up from here. So 22-14 on the season. Astro Frog has 6-2. It's a 21-11 match record there. G-Kick, undefeated. We see an undefeated player not in the top 10, 5-0, 15-8 record. Pokemon 661 is number 10 with 7-2, 24-12. Nice Jewish Owl is also 7-2 with a 23-17 record. Trito 2 makes it at number 7 with 7-1, 22-13. Sorry about that. I mean, Molestar is number 7, 7-2 with a 24-16. J.R. Juggerlaw staying up there with 7-1, 21-11. Super Chicken is also 7-1 with one more loss, 21-12. Laughing Frog is in the top 4 with a 7-2 record and a 24-19 game score. Memnarch is our first undefeated player up there with 7-0, 18-7. Just Concede right above them, 7-0, 21-9. And finally, the actual Buddha, Tab, is 8-1 with a 26-8 game score.
I think that includes the sweep playoff victory. I
We,
wonder if
we
that
don't talk
changed
about it. We don't talk
rankings.
about it. Tab, stop the count now. Tab is the
Uh,
number 1 player.
we-
Give
we
him the
gotta-
MVP.
We got a couple of 7-0s that somehow are below a 7-1 because the 7-1 became an 8-1 for a playoff match. Hey, no
Whoa,
need to
PP
spam ranked or
PPR
anything.
PPR does not an MVP make, okay? I'm pretty sure Just Concede still wins MVP.
And the choice for MVP does come from Donde, so it's probably just going to be Ron Mexico, anyways. But with that
Hey.
said,
You know I've been paying Donde a lot.
that's true. And I will remind you all that Ron Mexico did promise every Brushy Tuna member $500 if they win in pros.
Oh my god. Time to lose, time to throw.
$500 in cash.
Poof.
And I will know that cash is worth more than pizza. So with that, I will bring us back to our main screen. We have a very special checkout question. I'm actually excited about this one. So all of the leaks seem to indicate that we're getting a Death Knight expansion and that it might be happening. And I know some people here really love some of those Death Knight hero cards, right, Ron?
Oh, best card of all time.
And so I want to ask you all about if the Death Knight cards would be playable. If they came back as they were, or if you would change something about them to be playable. For example, reduce cost, whatever you would like with the original Death Knight cards. So we're going to start with Geranium here. And Geranium, I want to ask you, what does Garrosh and what does Jaina need to do to be playable if they are playable or aren't?
Okay, so Garrosh needs a lot. Garrosh has a hero power that can activate some enrage cards. However, it costs 8 mana to do that, and then another 2 mana to play that hero power. So yeah, Garrosh would probably need to probably go down to costing 5. Could keep that weapon and keep that hero power. So yeah, just -3 mana on first cost, and maybe it would see play. Then we go over to Jaina. Jaina has had one of the most insane battle cries in the game. However, they also did not print many elementals. So yeah, if the elementals you're getting are mostly from the hero power, but you do have wildfire to up your hero power, Jaina becomes, a very late game strategy, which Mage is able to do because of all their stall cards. So Jaina could probably go -1 mana, maybe -2 mana, and see play. But yeah, these Death Knight cards are too slow.
Fair. That's fair. Edgy. I want to ask you next, and I'm going to give you some fun ones. So, what, if anything, will they need to do to make Anduin and to make Gul'dan playable in standard?
This one's pretty simple. They just need to add Raza in with Anduin, and they need to add Void Lord in with Gul'dan, and then they are playable. Easy. But besides that, Anduin seems pretty slow right now. If you don't have Raza, it's really hard to make a win condition out of that. The battle cry is okay. Um, I don't really know what you would do to it, honestly. I really feel like the card is not very good without the synergy that Raza gives it. Maybe just make it 7 mana or something. I don't know if they'll actually do that though. The Warlock one, I've been looking through the demons in standard, and there's really not that many good ones to resurrect. I don't know, maybe you can run this in like imps or something to get a better hero power as like a late game card, and res some imps seems kind of bad. Yeah, I don't know. Besides changing the mana cost on the cards, I don't know how we're really going to make them playable. They seem pretty slow for current Hearthstone.
Yeah, especially the Warlock one. I was thinking about that one. It's like you can try to bring back a Moarg, but also that's turn 10 play. Who plays
Yeah.
stuff that costs 10 that isn't the Jailer? Or Denathrius? Chicken. I want to ask you, and I'm going to give you our daily triple here. What do you think they need to do to make Uther playable, to make Thrall playable, and to make Malfurion playable, if anything? If they're just already playable, just let me know.
What is the Malfurion hero power is either 3 attack or 3 health or 3 armor, right?
Yep.
And
Voice.
then it's summoned like either 2 poisonous spiders or like 2 taunts, 2 1/5 taunts.
Mhm.
Okay, and it was 7 mana. Man, man, these cards kind of sucked. What? Especially like the Thrall one. Like we literally have a spell now that does what the Thrall hero does for 1 mana. So it is like 20% of the original cost of Thrall.
Yep.
Like that is pretty nuts. Like it's hard to see like Evolve Shaman is sort of a thing. Like people are putting evolve packages into Control Shaman, and it's sort of a thing. I don't really. It's so hard to see a 5 mana. It just has to like either has to evolve way more, like just be some absurd evolve, or just come down in mana. It's also so weird to see like a hero card come below 5 mana. That seems like really whack. So it would probably be like maybe like summoning something and then evolving, or just evolving like more than 2. For Uther, I think Uther might be the closest out of the ones you've given me to being competitively viable. I think like bringing down the cost of the hero from 9 to 8 so that you can like get a hero power um on or get like a hero power down on the first turn you play it, could be decent. Like I think how many ways are there to actually bounce things back to your hand right now? There's like Zola. Or is Brewmaster still in the game? I don't think it is, right?
I don't actually know. Does anyone know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Brewmaster is. Zola the Gorgon is. The larger Brewmaster is not.
Okay, so it is like actually sort of possible to do it. Um if you go like yeah, it might be possible if you go like Brewmaster and then brand Zola your Brewmaster. It's like you like burn an entire turn to do it. I don't even know that it's probably slower than the high roll of Denathrius, and maybe slower than the jailer, but with Order in the Court, you could maybe do something with that. It'd be tough to see.
Totally
Hey,
Um,
works on a
uh,
Theo meta. Totally
so
works.
so chicken. Chicken, you're actually forgetting that the jailer makes those tokens immune. So
That is true. It could just work in a jailer deck where you get like 4 hero powers. Although, like, if you're playing the jailer, maybe you probably win the game faster than 4 turns most of the
Yeah.
time, anyways.
There it
versus
is.
versus mage, no, you're
Mhm.
not.
Yeah, I could see like and yeah, you do have like stuff like Ragnaros Lightlore that you could play alongside it in a turn that just like your opponent has to play. I feel like the hero power stuff with Jailer probably loses to the same stuff it does like to other Jailer counters like Shattering Blast or Twisting Nether. So yes, maybe a tad bit slow, but yeah, maybe with the right support at like 8 mana, the Uther hero could see play because the weapon is quite good. And then the Malfurion one, it'll let's rotate Guff. Like, why why are we playing a non-Guff hero? What are we really doing here? Maybe once we get to 20 mana and we don't feel like drawing cards, we can play the other Druid hero and stay at 20 mana and then poke our opponent for 3 each turn. That would be nice. But yeah, I think there's actually no conceivable way that you could play the other druid hero viably when Guff is in standard.
And you consider that Uther does not say Cariel on it, so we are not allowed to play it. There you go.
No, you don't get it, Neji. Neji. The Gariel gets
Mhm.
Gariel gets vipered, and then we play
Mhm.
Uther.
Okay, yeah,
Incredible.
genius. Do you consider that it'd be better if we played Uther and that got Viper and then we played Cariel? Mhm.
No, but they'll hold the viper for Gariel surely, and then we just
Mhm.
get 15 damage to the face. It's just good.
Mhm. Hmm.
These are arguments.
Now, Ron, you're getting the one that I think is the toughest to answer, honestly. I want to ask you whether you think Rexar and Valira are going to be playable. And you can
Uh,
curve them a bit if you need to.
Honestly, maybe. Um, like out of all of the DH cards that could, or DK cards that could exist in the current meta that we have, those to me seem like the most likely that could realistically be playable without changes. Um, it's still pretty borderline. Like maybe Rexar might need a little bit of a tweak, like either one less mana or do 3 to the board instead of 2 to the board as a battle cry, because 3 is such a big breakpoint on so many things right now that playing it on 6 and then also committing 2 mana to make a zombies on the following turn is fairly slow, and your opponents can do a lot of stuff to beat you up before then. Um, I Even if it isn't viable, I don't care. There's no shot that I'm playing a deck without DK Rexar. I am making zombies forever as long as I am able to make them. But yeah, probably would need a little bit of an adjustment to be more playable in the meta. Although potentially, especially with the Beast Hunter shell, like it's controlly enough. It has enough defensive tools that you might honestly be able to run it right now and get away with it. Whether that's better than not running it, I mean, are you trying to win games? You're trying to make zombies. Come on. And then for the other one, Valera, it's so expensive. Valera's 9, right? The original DK.
Yep.
So just on that fact alone, maybe not. But at the same time, it gives your hero stealth to start off, which is massive. I've already had a really broken card that's existed, but it was way, way cheaper, so that's pretty relevant. It does also give you like a permanent copy of things, which Rogue really loves. So if there is uh, room for that, you know, I feel like that one could definitely be playable. Like you can make a deck with that. You can make something combo based and just go nuts. I mean, even in a current Shark Rogue deck, it's a borderline call. Probably you still probably wouldn't put it in there, but it's like one other thing. Hey, instead of scabs bouncing everything for one less mana, we play a card that gives us stealth, and then they can't do any damage, and you get to copy uh, a bunch of different stuff. Maybe it's a damage card or I don't know, another coin. Doesn't really matter. It's iffy. They're both iffy. If I was going to change Valyria, it'd probably also just be mana cost to try to make it cheaper, but that risks really breaking the game some more. Definitely fringe playable though, out of the other DKs. Like Thrall, never. Uh, Garrosh, never. But Rexar and Valyria, maybe.
All right, so here we go. Everyone thinking the Death Knights are all very playable in the new meta, and we're gonna have to see. Now, with that, I want to invite you all for a very, very special match that is happening right after the show. It's going to be live 10 minutes due to delay. And I want to ask our casters one more time if they want to do a quick run through of what is happening. And to make it more interesting, I'm going to suggest that each of them say a sentence. So we get a very confusing message.
Sweet.
What?
So I'm just suggesting you
So
alternate on your information.
great. All right.
about the match.
So we have Hero Series Championship.
This series championship is going to start with the 1 seed battle.
Neji Boston versus Always Just in Time.
We've got Priest and Warlock in both players' lineups.
Neji bringing a Demon Hunter and Paladin on his side.
Versus Justin's Druid and Rogue.
So it'll be interesting to see what the bans might be.
But we might see a mirror on that too. Who's to say?
Who indeed. Excited to see the match regardless.
And we'll cover all of that in a few moments here as we shoo Neji off to
Hey.
go start his match.
Who?
Back to you, Lotus.
Well, I want to give a very special thank you for Neji Boston, Ron Mexico, Geranium Battle, and Super Chicken. You can still watch Ron, Geranium, and Neji right after this as Neji plays Justin. So, thank you all for watching Hearthcenter. We are coming back next week interviewing one of the winners. I don't know. We'll figure it out. No, we're not doing 2 interviews in a row. That's never happening. It's way too much work for me and for all of us, really. So we will see one of the winners being interviewed next week, and I hope y'all enjoy it. With that, have a good night, everyone. And Hearthcenter is gonna be back next week. Final reminder: if you're playing this week, play on stream. It's fun. We like to watch people play on stream. We like to cast people play on stream. Just let us know. We're always looking for matches, and we'll see you later.
Bye for now. Stay tuned for Tuesday Night Bar Fight.